Word on the road is that Corey Bet could have found himself cozying up to. In all honesty, Kim Kardashian herself, that's right, you heard me right. And get this clearly, Kris Jenner isn't fluttering an eyelash over it. Why, well, as per insiders, Kris has a past filled with being pretty chill about these things after the entirety of She's No More odd to playing go-between for her little girls, particularly with regards to hobnobbing with any semblance of Diddy presently. We should discuss Kris and Corey's relationship. These two have been a thing for an astounding 10 years. First, there was Robert Kardashian, then Caitlyn Jenner, and presently Corey Bet. Yet clutch your caps, since here comes the kicker. Murmurs are twirling that Corey could not simply be Kris' sweetheart. He may be her better half. That's right, you read that right. Mystery pre-marriage ceremony and everything except fact to the succulent stuff. Did Kim truly comfortable up to Corey? Well, the Grat plant tends to assume. So yet here's the kicker, it's not precisely sending Kris into a tail turn. Why, in light of the fact that purportedly Kris has a background marked by, will we say, liberality with regards to her girls' heartfelt ventures, pimping them out to Diddy Hill. No big deal. It appears as though Kris Jenner's domain may be disintegrating right in front of us. The sovereign honeybee of unscripted television is confronting a pile of issues. And this time her repertoire probably won't be sufficient to save her. So look at this. Rumors from far and wide suggest that Kris Jenner's messed up in some serious embarrassment, including, as a matter of fact, Diddy and his obscure dealings. Word on the road is that Kris supposedly pimped out her own girl, Kim Kardashian, to Diddy's notorious circle of oddity-offs. That's right, you heard that right, it resembles something straight out of a Hollywood thrill ride. In the event that that sensation wasn't sufficient, there's all the more terrible news for Kris Hulu. The streaming monster just dropped their very own significant stunner by dropping the Kardashians. Show you can have absolutely no doubt that Kris is smoldering about this one. It appears as though Kris Jenner's inconveniences are stacking up quicker than at any other time. In a stunning development, the IRS is supposedly hammering Kris over claims of tax avoidance through her California People Group Church. This could have serious ramifications for Kris and everybody related with her. The IRS guarantees that Kris has been endeavoring to sidestep charges for herself as well as for her kids, overwhelmingly of cash, all the while assuming a pretense of the congregation. In the event that these claims turn out as expected, it could mean difficulty for Kris as well as for her whole family too. The potential repercussions are enormous. The IRS has the influence to seal Kris' ledgers and properties, which could bargain a staggering catastrophe for her funds and notoriety. And on the off chance that criminal accusations are brought against her, it could mean jail time for Kris and those required as the examination unfurls. One thing's for sure, Kris Jenner's life is going to get significantly more muddled. Stay tuned on the grounds that this could be the start of the end for the Kardashian matron. Kris established the California People Group Church in 2009. It was recently known as the Life Change Church, and its lead minister is Brad Johnson. He is a family companion of the Kardashians, and cook watchers could recollect him for IG-ating Khloe Kardashian and Lamar Odds' wedding. Some might see it as a shock that Kris established her own congregation. Anyway, the family has a long-standing relationship with religion and is consistently seen on their shows making supplications, and they additionally cause posts about it on their virtual entertainment. To the main pressing concern many individuals to appear to have with Kris having her own congregation is that there has been some hypothesis throughout the long term over the credibility of her having a congregation. The primary worry of this is on the off chance that Kris chose to establish her own congregation so she could involve it as an expense write-off inside the congregation. There is a training that is known as giving, which is where it is standard to give 10% of one's profit back to the congregation. This set a ton of people talking in regards to Kris in light of the fact that it's commonly realized that she takes 10% of every last bit of her kids' income. And many found this considerably an over-the-top happenstance to accept that there was nothing off-putting behind her establishing her own congregation. This may not seem like anything that anybody essentially should have misgivings about as of now, especially as numerous supervisors will frequently take somewhere near 10% of their clients' profit. Anyway, it was accounted for by Radar Online that the California People Group Church was associated with a duty outrage after it neglected to pay any expenses during its initial, not many years. Kris Church not paying any expenses could confound some concerning why this was an assessment embarrassment, as it's additionally commonly realized that chapels are excluded from paying government, state, and neighborhood burdens anyway. They in all actuality do need to pay charges on their finance costs, which is by all accounts what Kris neglected to do in this example. Doesn't seem like something a business-wise lady like Kris would do. There are a few different issues in regards to cash and Kris congregation that likewise become possibly the most important factor here, one of which is that there have been a couple of events where the Kardashians have been associated with some foundation barters on eBay, and have given the cash produced using these deals to the California People Group Church, which would get them out of paying any assessment on that cash. The other issue is the enrollment charge that the congregation charges. Many temples will change what they charge for their churchgoers. Some will charge an obligatory charge. Some will ask that individuals pay 10% of their profit, yet won't make this compulsory, and others will request a little commitment at whatever point somebody goes to their congregation. Anyway, the California People Group Church charges $1,000 each month to have the option to go to their congregation. So it unquestionably appears as though something else for the rich and well-off, yet ignoring that it would likewise appear to be that this participation charge gives Kris significantly more cash than what she has of now, makes which many are unsettled about. In the event that you imagine that is the just misleading outrage Kardashians are involved, and you are off base. The entire circumstance has all the earmarks of being very dubious, and it positively seems to be obscure as F, yet it actually doesn't end there, in light of the fact that a ton of things actually don't make any sense about Kim's funds, and individuals are persuaded that she has been blowing up her pay in network. Listen, these hoodlums' pockets have openings in them. And this is the sort of obscurity that is the same old thing to the Kardashians, on the grounds that we as a whole recollect how Kylie was uncovered by Forbes for lying about how much her Kylie Beauty Care Products brand was worth, and she wound up losing her tycoon status this fall. Kim is still formally noted as an extremely rich person, yet individuals feel that she doesn't carry on like it. Last year, she was explored by the SEC after she promoted the cryptographic money Ethereum Max, without adding a disclaimer to show that it was a supported advertisement, and she had gotten compensated to do as such by publicizing, without expressing that it was a promotion. She had participated in a siphon and dump conspire that was pointed toward expanding the cost of digital